And if I was a sailor, I'd sail the seven seas to tell you, baby, I don't want you to leave. Cause see, this world is such a sad place, and without your pretty face, I'm sure it's gonna wind up much worse. And I know that you'll see someday that I can't live without you. And I know what I say is true, cause I'm still stuck on you, girl. I'm in love for the first time I'll let my eyes on you. But you're too down. There's nothing I can do. And I'm in love for the first time I'll let my lips on yours. Now you're walking out my door, and there's nothing I can do. And if I could explore the world, I'd bring you along. We go to New York to Timbuktu. But truly I'm sad right here in Dennis, drinking coffee and sharing a cigarette. And I know that you'll see someday that I can't live without you. And I know what I say is true, cause I'm still stuck on you.
It has just struck midday, and Alice is standing in the middle of the city.
My shadow followed when you walked away, and ever since that day, my life has never been the same. My friends all ask just why you went away, and all that I can say is your heart was in another place. And all I know is when I move away, my heart will stay in this Midwestern state. Darling, you're with him. Damn, it's such a shame. It's driving me insane, and ever since you went away, my heart has never beat the same. And all that I can do is just laugh.
Who are you? They call me Dennis O'Clock.
Who do?
Time does, because I was born on the 30th day of this month, when the sun was at its vertical lining.
It's your birthday?
Yes, it is indeed the anniversary of my birth.
Many happy returns.
I hope to never return to this day again.
Why ever not?
This is a very special day for me, I must tell you. I've never wanted to come back to it. Your name is Alice Pleasant Liddell, isn't it?
I am Alice Pleasant Liddell, but how did you know that?
I've seen you only in books before.
Only in books.
Only in books. But all this talk of books makes me very sad.
But it's your birthday, Mr. O'Clock. Upon this day, you should only be happy.
But how could I be happy? I'm suffering a very terrible disease.
Well, you look perfectly healthy to me. I'm so glad to have met someone so humanly like me. You're not suffering from pneumonia, are you?
I'm suffering from crickets.
Cricket? The game with the ball, the bat, the 3 stumps, and an umpire?
Crickets with the capital C, the ravenous pile of insects. I'm a writer, you see.
And what do you write, Mr. O'Clock? Timetables?
No, I once tried to time a table, but a table is much too wooden. It moves about 1 inch every 9 hours, except for dinner time. Then it makes a sudden run for the kitchen.
So what do you write, fiction or nonfiction?
I write neither. Not fiction, nor nonfiction. I write friction.
What the fuck is friction?
I'm a writer of wrong.
What's wrong?
A wrong is a book that the crickets don't consider to be right. They prefer it to be written in simpleton rather than frictional. They rub their dry wings together, these crickets, in disapproval. They don't really much like my writings. They make all the noise in the papers.
But what is so terrible about your wrongs?
Well, I've written 2 wrongs this far. The first one was called Shirt, and the second was called Solemn. The crickets, they disapprove of both. That is why I'm so unhappy on my birthday.
Do you always spell your book titles with so many U's in them?
I can't help it. I'm afraid. I can't help but go wrong. Would you like to hear some of my book?
No. Alright, fine.
This is a love poem called Nothing Rhymes with Orange. Are you ready?
I hope so, but nothing rhymes with orange.
Excellent, then I'll begin. Nothing can rhyme with orange except the pockets on a kilt. When a sporran is misspelled to a sporange with a lilt. What do you think of this so far, Alice?
Well, you told me it was going to be a love poem, and you're talking about quilts. I don't see any love in this poem.
But that was only the first verse.
How many verses are there altogether?
Only 2.
Enjoy it.
An orange can rhyme with nothing. The people cry in ignorance, forgetting their ignorance, that words can be made to dance.
I'm afraid I still don't see why this is a love poem.
But I'm in love with language. Can't you see that?
Does this love allow you to make up words like sporange and ignorange just to find something that rhymes with orange because nothing rhymes with orange?
But those words are my creations. I conceived them, I birthed them, I nurtured them, so they could become strong and powerful and someday be accepted in the Simpleton Dictionary. You see, I do this twice nightly, Alice, sometimes thrice. But you must understand this, being such a close friend of Charles Dodgson.
You know about Dodson?
I know all about you, Alice. I've seen you in pictures and storybooks. I've read about you in Alice in Wonderland. I read about you in Through the Looking Glass, all by Charles Dodgson.
I know this already.
But when Charles Dodgson wrote about you, he called himself Lewis Carroll, having decided, like myself, to hide behind a nom de plume, which means a feather name.
So you're not really seen at the clock then, are you?
Of course not. What a silly name is that?
So then who are you?
You want to know my nom de real? That's absurd. Now that would be telling. Well, what are you doing here? In 1998? In Manchester? Of all ages?
I fell through the workings of a grandfather clock, and I can't find my way back home. I have to get home in time for my 2 o'clock writing lesson.
Maybe you should look up your history in the Central Library.
But why should my history be in the library?
Because you are like a prophet in this world. We know all about your history, your past, your present, and your future.
Well, my future? Where am I going in the future? How is that possible?
Because you're a character of a story in our world.
How am I a story in your world? How is that possible when your world is such a dream to me?
What may be a dream to you is not reality to me. Your reality is your reality. But your reality is a story to me.
Mr. O'Clock, you're quite the confusing character. You're always speaking in riddles and weird crap that I can't understand.
But how is my way of speaking strange? It isn't strange. I can understand my words completely. Maybe there's something wrong with your hearing. I think you have a problem understanding. How dare you criticize my words?
Criticize your words? Your words are retarded. You write love poems that have nothing to do with love, about oranges, and nothing rhymes with orange. Who is Zenith the Clock?
Alice, Zenith the Clock is actually Jeff Noon. He's been writing your life ever since you fell through the clock. Each of your actions has been a sentence in the story. It's been a figment of his imagination.
Who are you?
That's none of your concern.
I met a man of 2 feet tall. This man was quite ambitious in a world that is so vicious to us all. I said hi, as he replied. He said, listen to these words that I have lived by my whole life. You're only as tall as your heart will let you be, and you're only as small as the world will make you seem. And when the going gets rough and you feel like you may fall, just look on the bright side. You're roughly 6 feet tall. I met a man of 12 feet tall. He towered like a giant in a world that was defiant of his height. I said,
how dare you criticize my choice of words?
As he replied, he said, listen to these words that I have dreaded my whole life. You're only as tall as your heart will let you be, and you're only as small as the world will make you seem. And when the going gets rough and you feel like you may fall,
I'm afraid. I
just
can't help
look
but go.
on the bright side. You're roughly 6 feet tall.
You mentioned that and I start reading anyway?
Yeah, it's okay, say no.
I'm reading this for me.
Yeah.
Just looking for some answers.
Speak louder.
In a world that answers none of them at all.
I can't do this to the script.
I'll say hi, but not
she like hold up a sign with the lines?
Where's the sign that it comes from?
That's why I just, if you guys wanted to memorize a few lines and then start again, you don't have to do the whole thing here. How many more lines?
Oh, hold on. We haven't even gotten